My name is Simone Claxton, and I am founder of the nonprofit organization, the Sapphire Miriam Foundation, and this is our youth forum session. Today, our topic would be on breast cancer awareness, with October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We have with us some youth ambassadors from the Sapphire Miriam Foundation who will be discussing breast cancer awareness. We have a special guest today, Debbie, who is with us, who has first-hand experience with this topic. So it's going to be a wonderful session. Welcome, everyone. So our team leader today will be Krisana. So Krisana.
Good day.
Good day.
Hi, Krisana.
Hi, Debbie.
So our first question, Krisana is going to pose our questions for us.
So before we start our question, I would just like to give, a little brief definition as to what is breast cancer, seeing that this is our main topic for today. So breast cancer is basically a disease in which cells in the breast grow out of control. Now, there are different types of breast cancer. The kind of breast cancer depends on what cells in the breast turn into cancer. Now, so breast cancer can begin in different parts of the breast. So with that definition being said, I will now pose my first question to you all. What are the risk factors of breast cancer?
Right, so now that we know what breast cancer is, so breast cancer basically has to do with the mutation or the changing of your cells from normal cells into abnormal cells. So that's what cancer is basically, okay? And obviously with breast cancer, it occurs in the breast. And as Krisana said, it could start in different, parts of your breast. What are some of the risk factors? For example, it could be genetically disposed. So within your family, you have a gene which is passed down through the generations that could make you more predisposed, as they say, or have a higher risk for breast cancer. Those are one of the risk factors. Also, another risk factor, which is one of the main factors, would be lifestyle. Your lifestyle choices, for example, the type of diet that you have, right? Because the type of food that you intake would also determine the type of nutrients that go into your body and how your cells are being fed. Okay, so if your cells are not getting the right type of nutrients, then they would not be healthy cells. So therefore, your lifestyle changes, whether you smoke and drink, the type of diet you have, etc. If you're getting enough rest, all these factors are influential. So let's have someone else now.
Another risk factor is based on your age, because most breast cancer persons have gets breast cancer at 50 or older.
Right, great. So age could be a determining factor. It occurs a little later on normally. Anybody else?
Yes. I have the environmental factor. Have you all ever thought the environment has an impact on our health? Well, here's how the environment can lead to breast cancer. So, the environmental factor is known to increase breast cancer risk, and that factor is exposure to ionizing radiation. Exposure to environmental pollutants and toxic chemicals are possible risk factors for breast cancer. For any case in breast cancer risk associated with exposure to environmental pollutants. So basically, it depends on the country you live in, because some countries they're not clean at all, and people of different lifestyles live on the outside, who are not even in a home, and they are exposed to these toxic chemicals. Even people who may work in the factories, or people who do engineering and be exposed to these stuff, they have a greater risk of breast cancer.
That is so true. The pollutants that you're exposed to within the environment could cause that change in your cells, cause your cells to become abnormal. Okay, great. Anyone else? What about Ciara or Victoria?
Also, basically, another risk factor of breast cancer is like if you're not physically active, you also have a higher chance of getting breast cancer.
Great. So that links to lifestyle and exercise or lack of exercise. Okay. Victoria, any thoughts on this point?
Well, another risk that could lead to breast cancer would be deficiencies, like the lack of eating and nutrition could lead to different deficiencies in the body. So like vitamin D deficiencies and so on could also play a part in getting breast cancer.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a point. Under the lifestyle bracket, being overweight, overweight and obese women have a higher risk of breast cancer compared to having a healthy weight.
True. So we have to look at our weight, our body mass index, our weight with respect to our height, our age, etc., and make sure that it's appropriate, you know, in order to reduce the risk factors. I think our main aim as women would be to try to reduce, you know, the risk of being exposed, you know, to breast cancer. Yes, anybody else wants to contribute any other points in moving forward before Krisana presents the next question?
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I've listened to you young ladies, and you're on the right track where risk factors are concerned. Just to say though that all of these risk factors that we have listed are really basically risk factors for any sort of disability or disease in your body. It's basically a lifestyle sort of diseases that would trigger the proliferation of cells in the breast, in the whatever, and become cancer. Your lifestyle affects how you live, how healthy you are. And besides being genetically predisposed to cancer, basically your lifestyle contributes. And it's not just only to cancer, any kind of cancer, but basically to your health. And so that everything that you have said really, besides being genetically predisposed or also on the onset of menopause, when a woman's body is beginning to change to as per her age, it's things are slowing down, new things are happening. And in all of this, can you imagine all of the chemical impact in your body? All of this can trigger some sort of cancer, but then it's based on your health status. Your environment is the same for all health issues. And so, you know, I just want to say that the risk factors are basically your foundation, your health, sets apart from your genes or being moved into another phase of older life as a woman. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks very much, Debbie, for that. So true. We also have another point by Deborah, which is injury to chest or the breast area could be one of the factors that could make you predisposed to
definitely
breast cancer.
Yes.
Great. So let's have Krisana with the next question, and then maybe Debbie, you can take it from there as you've had that first-hand experience after Krisana poses the next question.
Okay, so my next question is the impact of breast cancer on an individual.
Okay. The impact of breast cancer on an individual, on a woman. Let us just, there are men who have encountered breast cancer as well, but the impact is greater for a woman because our breasts are part of our femininity. Our breast makes us women. Our breast makes us feminine. And right away, you're told you have breast cancer, and as the world puts it, you are going to lose your breast or both breasts. And no woman wants that because it makes you a woman. And so right away you begin thinking, I don't want to lose my breast, I don't want to lose my breast. And then further you're saying, I don't want the cancer to spread into my body and I will die. So it's a very strong mental impact that you would first have to face when you're diagnosed with breast cancer. Except that when you have received such a diagnosis, obviously the human nature will probably begin to think of the worst case scenario, but the better thing to do is to settle down and give yourself a true assessment of what your body is now going to do. Have you been healthy? Have you been whatever? And find out how can I really deal with this disease, because it's going to take a toll on your mind. And so therefore you ask yourself, what is out there for me and what can I do? You make sure that you engage in the treatment and in the assessment of your diagnosis. Because if you sit back and allow the medicine world out there to determine what future you're going to have with breast cancer, then you're surely going to lose your breast. Because this is what they know. This is what they know. Their modus operandi, the way they treat women with breast cancer, is ultimately cut the breast. And yes, nobody wants that. Obviously, you may have to, depending on the stage of the cancer and depending on the type. One young lady said that there are two types of cancer. I don't think breast cancer, I don't think she named them, but it could be lobular and it could be estrogen-led. Estrogen is our female hormone. So once you have been diagnosed, you take hold, you take part, you take a very big part in the future of your body, of treatment for cancer. Find out about cancer. Find out what kind of cancer you have. Find out whether they are natural treatments. Find out about the other technical treatments that they have. Find out about your health. Do a lot of that, because if you don't, cancer, and like every other disease, impacts your entire lifestyle. And your whole life can change. Your whole mindset can change. That is how far the impact of such a diagnosis can take you. You can just become a different person altogether. Apart from your womanhood and your femininity, your mind, you can just become a different person. So that is as far as the mental impact can be. It can change you completely.
Thanks, Debbie. That's so important. The points that you've raised with respect to taking charge of your own health, of knowing, getting the information and getting alternatives and not leaving it into the hands of, the medical professionals, because they don't know, if it's one way or particular way in dealing with the situation. Mm-hmm. Yes. So it's our responsibility as women to take charge of our bodies, to know what's happening with us and to know what we can do, to help the situation. Debbie, on that note, can you just tell us, like, you personally, how did it impact you and maybe your family, your diagnosis or your situation?
Okay. My personal testimony is this. I had just passed 50, and one day I discovered a lump. I don't normally do the breast massaging to find out the monthly. That was not and that's not really a regular that women do, So one day you discover a lump, and I went to the doctor, and he says, I don't like lumps in breast. Let's get it out. So I'm a very spiritual person. So I said to him, Doc, give me a break. He said, let's do it Thursday, which was a couple of days on. And I said, Doc, just give me a break to find my spirit and to find myself and to pray about this. And he said, okay, next week. So next week I took the lump out, and cancer was the furthest thing on my mind. I just thought I had taken out a lump. And when I went back to have the stitches removed, he said, well, I'm sorry to tell you that it is cancer. And so right away, my heart sank, but I went home and I spoke to my daughter about it, and I cried. because obviously a journey is ahead of me, and I don't like hospitals and I don't like all of these things. And so I cried. But again, I quickly took charge and I went to God and I said, God, well, you know me, you know who I am, and you know how much I don't like these things. And so can you please take me through this? And God did. And so quickly, a couple of weeks after that, I moved to the US for treatment, because the treatment that we have in my country, I didn't have much faith in it. And so I figured that there's higher technology, and I went to the US. So that was within a month. That was just within a month. And by the time I got up there and they searched for cancer, they couldn't find, because it was only a short time that I had removed the lump. And given there was not any spread, they said there was no cancer. But the lump that was removed was highly aggressive. And so right away, the doctors were saying, in spite of the fact that it's not in your breast, what we took out was cancer. So let us just hold the procedure and cut the breast off. I left 4 kids home. I had spoken to my kids and everything about it. And I said, Mama will come back. I will be fine. And at the time, I didn't realize I was brave, but I was asking them to be brave. And I just expected, because Mama asked them to be brave, they were going to be brave. And it took me some time afterwards to recognize the impact that it had, more so on my son than on the daughters, because to him it was a death sentence, and he didn't show his emotions until later on, that he just couldn't stand the fact that he may lose his mom in the process. And with the girls, they were sad, but I don't know if it's a woman's thing, but they took it a little better than he did. I have 4 kids. Now, the youngest one, Aliyah, was just about maybe 10 years at the time. And she was in primary school preparing to go to high school. And she too took it really hard. And the thing is, you never know until later on, especially because I was not doing treatment in the home country. I had left Dominica and left them with relatives, and they are there processing this. And in the back of their mind, not so much that Mama could lose a breast, but Mama could be taken away. Especially I am the head of the household. Dad lives in the US. And so they felt like the rug was pulled underneath their feet. But the thing is, I did not realize the impact until much later. Because I'd gone to the US, spent a year trying to settle this thing, do everything about it, finally had the breast removed. And I was consumed with what was happening around me. And I kept in touch with my kids. Yes, we spoke, but we never discussed, how they felt about what a part of their family was going through. And that is what I would advise people. Right away, ask your loved ones, how do you feel about me, this happening to me? Because one of the things is that you may die from this, what you're going to go through. You may be maimed, you may have a change of spirit, you may have a whatever. And I fought this battle thinking that it was all my battle alone. But it wasn't my battle alone, it was mine and my family's. And the mistake was, it took me a couple of years later, not even when I came back after a year, to find out the root of some of the behaviors from my daughters and my son, to find out that just the diagnosis had that kind of impact on them. So it's not your journey alone. I did not ask them what they felt. I did not find out from them, how do you feel? Nothing like that. And that is absolutely necessary. So this is my take when I had the diagnosis.
Thanks very much, Debbie, for sharing that, very personal story with us as to your experience and the experience of your family. And it's so important that, that we realize that, sometimes when we're going through this type of thing on our own, we don't take into consideration that, other persons, around us are actually going through it with us, and it's being impacted. And their behaviors may automatically, be a reflection of what they're feeling and going through in this situation.
Yeah.
So that is that's so important for us to take that into consideration. Okay, so in moving on, affecting the mental health. So Krisana, I think it leads directly into that that question, because Debbie has clearly expressed how it has impacted on her mental health and on the mental health of her family.
Yes.
So I'll turn over to you, Krisana, and then the other girls can chime in here.
So, Ms. Tabby, I know you, as Ms. Simone rightfully said, the impact led to this question, as you express yourself. But how we can individuals and how can the Sapphire Miriam Foundation assist those individuals, or assist you in particular, who suffer from breast cancer or has survived it? How can we assist you mentally, emotionally, and physically?
Yeah, good question. I think that having someone or some association or people come to you and ask you, how do you feel? How can I help?
Yeah.
Is there anything you need? That makes the mountain of a difference. Because I basically, I give God all the praise and all the glory. But man to man, I basically fought this battle alone because people are afraid to ask you about cancer, because cancer has the stigma of being a death sentence. But I am here to say that it is not a death sentence. And people want people to talk to them. People want you to ask. People want to know, if there was someone who could have gone to my kids and say to them, Mama is not there. How are you guys feeling? Tell me something. What can I say to her for you? Or call me up and say, do you know how your kids feel? That sort of thing. Because at that time, all you are really thinking of is how to get this thing out of your body and how to, and you're on your personal journey. But had someone asked me to process my feelings, really, had someone come to me, I think it would have made all the difference. So the Sapphire Foundation can take the role of some sort of counseling or communicating. Besides people having, physical needs here and there, I think it's more important to tend to the spirit at this time, because it's your spirit that is dealing with this this impact on your body. Your spirit is responding, your family is responding. As for the husbands need someone to speak to them. Their wife is losing her breast. Her breast is what makes her his woman. Part of it, part of her body is part of what makes her his woman. And if you don't talk about it, he will be afraid. He won't want to see you, or he'll be afraid. Not won't want to, but he'll be afraid. And it's nice that men would have someone speak to them about it and walk them step by step as to how to accept your wife.
Yeah.
As that. So Sapphire can talk to family, children, can find people who can speak to people. I think basically it's just the communication, because of the fact that this is a spiritual battle. Yeah?
Yeah, so I get what you're saying, and I hope we can do that in the near future, provide family counseling to families about, husbands about their wife having breast cancer, to children about their moms, etc. So that's something we're looking forward to going to the future. So my next question is, what types of treatments are available for breast cancer? So as we usually know and commonly know, most treatments of cancer, like the chemotherapy, most people go through that. What are the treatments of breast cancer in specific?
It is cut and dry, sister. It's cut and dry. If you are diagnosed with breast cancer, no matter the level of how far the cancer is, whether it's stage 1 or stage 4,
yeah,
the out there in the world of medicine, you are going to be offered chemotherapy and radiation. That is all they have to offer, which is why I stress that you now must find out, is there something I can do? No one talks about the fact that if you have a calm spirit, if you have a positive spirit, that impacts your health 100% positively. This is no part of the medical world. It is also no part of the medical world what herbal medicines can do. It is also no part of the medical world what lifestyle changes can do. They question you, have you been a smoker? Do you drink? Whatever. But in the back of their mind, we're going to have to give her chemo and we're going to have to give her radiation. And these two treatments are very harsh on the body and very detrimental to the body. People have died, not so much from the cancer, but from the response of their bodies to these treatments, because they are harsh on your body. And I did chemotherapy and I did radiation, and I have first-hand experience of how it can rock your body. But I testify today that because I was spiritually strong and because I went in there and took the medication with the soundness of mind that it was going to work for me and not against me, I suffered none at all, no adverse effects from either chemotherapy or radiation. I went through 8 rounds of chemotherapy and I was not a day sick. I got sick once because I was supposed to have taken an injection the morning after. That helps with all of the vomiting and the nauseousness and stuff. And it should have been at room temperature, but I took it out of the refrigerator and took it cold, and it had that kind of effect on me. But I ate normally all the way. Obviously, your body is weakened a little bit, but I still got into activities. I raked leaves. Simply because my mindset was positive, and that goes a much longer way, I would dare say, than any sort of medicine. And so this is what the medical world has to offer. And I am not trashing them, because it can work and it does work. Yeah. But the fact that you have to engage your patient in the whole process of healing is almost absent out there. The fact that you have to have the patient take part in the discussions, explain those medical terms that they don't know, let them know exactly what chemotherapy is going to do to some. I went into chemotherapy and I did not have counseling. I was given a pamphlet with a lot of words and a lot of stuff that at the time you cannot digest, and you're not in the mood for that. You need one-on-one personal impact, somebody who has been through it or someone who knows about it, a medical professional who knows about it, to tell you, listen, this is going to happen to you. Obviously, you're going to lose your hair. By the second round, you will lose your hair. You may feel nauseous. You may not be able to eat. You may be very weak. You may that sort of thing. And that kind of counseling will, my personal experience was that I didn't have a one-on-one counseling. I can't say that I wasn't given some information on the leaflet, but it didn't serve me because I could not digest it. You know? Yeah. And so all of these things, I will keep on saying that people need to be loved in that situation. Women need to be loved when they are encountering breast cancer. And it's not just for breast cancer, I dare say. It is just when a person is ailing, and a person is ailing, they need that. But the breast cancer thing can be so impactful on your spirit that really, if someone would reach out, that is why I now want to help anyone who who's going to walk through that journey and let them know it's not a death sentence. Put your mind to it. We all have to die, but you're not going to lay back and die. And you're not going to lay back and allow chemotherapy and radiation to take your life. If it's going to be medicine, you have to receive it as medicine, but realize it is very strong medicine. And what can fight against that? Nothing but your state of mind and prayer. So this is my take, sisters.
Yes, and that was well said. And I do hope that, you know, as a society, we make a change and we raise awareness. And instead, like when cancer patients go through chemotherapy, they get the counseling that they deserve.
Yes, yes, that is a large part that is left
Because,
out.
as you rightfully said, like when you're in that state, giving you a pamphlet or leaflet is not going to do any justice at all, because your mind is literally all over the place. And I don't believe in that. I believe that there should be someone, at least a psychologist or doctor, somebody coming there to speak to you and comforting you and giving you advice.
You know something? When I went in to do my very first chemo, the hospital provides someone like an animator comes into the room and offers you like drawing paper and coloring and stuff, and says to you, just go ahead and doodle to kind of take your mind off the fact that you're now going to face this. This helps in a certain way, but if I just have to draw and I still have to face what I did, the unknown, you know, I'm not saying that it wasn't something to help, but one-on-one sharing of information and comfort is more important, because I don't know if these medical people recognize how impactful, and they do see, they have loads of experience, they see people suffer. I started chemotherapy with a group of people, and by the second round, many of them were now in their wheelchairs. They had breathing problems, they had everything, and I boast of the Lord that He allowed me, because I chose to nurture my spirit, that He allowed me to be able to go through these 8 rounds, one after the other, never got sick. Never got sick. So if they don't talk to you, then talk to the Lord. Talk to the Lord above them. Respect medical people. Respect them. But they only know what they know. And I was told so by a doctor. I will tell you later on that after this breast was removed, I had to face another type. So I faced both types of breast cancer. I've just come back 3 weeks ago to my country, having been diagnosed like maybe a year ago of estrogen-led cancer in the other breast. And one doctor said to me, this is what I know. What I know is that you have to have a mastectomy. This is what I know, Debbie. I can't offer you anything else. So I had an oncologist on one end, and I had a surgeon on the other end. And the surgeon said, all I can tell you is that I need to cut it. That's the way I know to take it off. And the oncologist is saying, no, we can treat it this way because of it is that type. And I'm listening to both of them arguing, and I'm saying, here it is. I need to have my take on this now. I have to decide which way I'm going, because these people don't know. So hence the fact that you exchange with your client and let them know what the outcome can be. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, Miss Debbie, I must admire that you have faith, right, and you believed in it, because a lot of people who are going through similar situation or the same situation, they would pray and speak to God, etc. And then after a while, when they don't see things happening as they want to within a certain time, they'll begin to lose faith. But you kept faith, and I hope that you got the results you wanted after. And that's really good.
Yeah. You see, faith is, people believe that it is a matter of doctrine, that it is a matter of a church. It is not. It is a God-given spiritual ability to be able to live. You have to have faith. If you just want a scholarship, If you just want your next meal, sometimes some people have to have faith to have another meal. I met a lady in the supermarket this morning holding on to her tummy. And I'm saying, what's going on with you? And she goes, I have no food in the house. So I had to run out of the house to spend the little money I have to. She has to have faith that this little $10 is going to work, and it will work if you determine. You will decide, no, I can spend $1 on this and $2 on that. It takes faith because it is a strenuous situation. And people take faith to mean church and to mean the priest and to mean doctrine. It's not. It is a God-given spiritual ability to overcome. You don't see the thing, but you have faith that it's going to happen. And it's a spiritual ability that we have to nurture and grow within us to have faith. You know, it gives you wisdom. To exercise faith, you have to have knowledge, you have to have wisdom, you know, that kind of way. It's not church.
Yes, it's so important. It really is to have the right mindset, the right attitude, be positive and have faith, because that is really part of the healing process. As you're saying, it's not just you take a tablet or you take the radiation, or you have, you know, a mastectomy, etc. But you have to have that attitude, that positive mindset, because that influences, it influences your body, the healing process.
It does.
Right, and having that faith as well. And persons really need to be more aware and educated in that aspect, and also in the alternative aspect, not just the medical aspect. And I think this is where, as advocates for breast cancer, we really need more advocacy when it comes to breast cancer awareness, and letting women know, you know, what are their options, informing them, being there for them, as you said, that one-on-one. So inform you, well, okay, this is what you're going through, and this is what's going to happen. Be there for your family as well, find out what they're going through, help communicate, and all of this is going to help. It's a mighty task, I must say. And it is. And it makes me see how much more work as a foundation that we have to do. It never stops, because this is a really, you know, it's a big task to bridge that gap in the families and to give that comfort and support to the women who are actually going through breast cancer or cancer or any type of illness. Because you need that comfort and that support, right? What about the other girls? Natalia, Najah, let's hear from you guys. You know, your take on this.
I was going to ask Miss Debbie about depression, because, you know, most women go through depression when they have breast cancer or any type of cancer.
And rightly so, my girl. Just think about it, man. This is enough to spin you into another world. You know, already you're feeling that you're going to lose your breast. Already it is major surgery. Then you have to face these rough treatments. Sometimes you don't have money. It's an expensive process as well. And for paying so much money, you do not get what you really need. They shove these things into you. They do what they're doing. Don't think I'm trashing it, because I respect the medical world. Okay? But I think there is process. I think there's an attitude. I think it lacks humanity. I think it lacks love. It's an expensive procedure. You have to wonder, where do I get all of this money? And you become dependent on people to where you stopped your life, your job, your family, your natural process of living. You have to stop for a moment to deal with cancer. And you need all sorts of help. All sorts of help you need. Your hair's gonna fall off, your eyebrows are gonna fall off, your eyelashes are gonna fall off. Who wouldn't be depressed? Who wouldn't be depressed to see your body going through all of this, and at the same time your kids are home, at the same time you're wondering where you're getting the money from? If you don't have faith, you are lost. You become depressed. It's easy to fall into depression. And the thing is, once you've taken that route and you become depressed, you are going to be depressed all the time, even after you are well. You know why? Because you are broken that strength there, and any other weight of anything, you're prone, you know, become depressed if there's not enough money in your purse. You're depressed if you can, and simple thing, simple. If people don't respond the way that you expect them to, you know, once you fall way of depression, it's not easy to go back. You will live normally for a couple of days. So I'm admonishing you, young ladies, don't let anything depress you. Take your time, trash it to pieces, think, break it down, break it down. Why is it I'm feeling this? What's going on? Why? Okay, so she didn't respond to me the right way. So what? And break it down and don't allow your spirit to be broken in depression. Because then it's going to speak to you. It's going to always want to lead you before you even put in your own process. Depression is going to be speaking to you. No, this is not going to happen. No, don't go the way of depression. It is very easy to become depressed when you're faced with these kinds of situation. You have to do your exams and you know you did not study for the exam. So the night before the exam, now you're worried and you become depressed. But you must now sit back and face the truth. I didn't study. So the best I can do now is to do my best. And if I get just 50, 60, I know that this is the fruit of my labor. This is what I planted. This is what I'm going to sow. But don't be depressed and, oh, I failed and I failed and I failed. What's your responsibility? What's your responsibility to other people? What's your expectation of other people? What's your expectation of the circumstances around you? You become depressed for what? When you are responsible for yourself and how you process things. So depression is real and it is rampant among young people. Rampant depression. They just cannot handle the situations. Sometimes because, again, we do not have an individual. God made us to be able to be social people, to interact and share love. And so a child may not have someone that they trust to speak to express themselves fully. I didn't have a mom, but guess what? I would sit back and talk to myself, and that is how I became close to God. What should I do? How do I do this? Observe people and do not allow yourself to go crazy. Okay?
Yes, and Ms. W, you really have some good points. Now that last question concluded the question segment. Does anyone have anything to add before we conclude? Ms. Claxton, fellow ambassadors, would anyone like to add anything or say anything?
Yes, I'd like to add. Please. Shalini, you want to go first?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Like Ms. Debbie and Ms. Claxton was saying, I think support for individuals with breast cancer is really important. And you should try and support them in any way you can, whether it's visiting, calling, financial aid. You should try and make them feel loved.
Yeah. It's to help people meet the needs that they will face when they're going on this journey. It's just to offer a helping hand in any way. And you won't be able to meet everything, but the fact that someone would come and ask you, can I help? It makes a difference. Can I pray? Can I help? Is there something that you need? You know, personally, having been through the cancer thing, I got a lot of help afterwards. And I came to realize that one of the things that changes in your life is the way a woman now has to dress. Because remember, your body is not the same anymore. And no matter how much you wear a prosthesis, you don't want to look lopsided. You don't want to look like you have one breast big and normal and the other one sink down. And it affects your psyche. It affects how you look at yourself. And so women who have lost a breast now are wearing what is called a prosthesis. It's a nice, soft, little breast-shaped thing that you put inside of a bra. Now you have to have that special bra that has a pocket that you can put the prosthesis in, and it has to be your size and fit you properly. And I came to discover that many women in my country did not own a prosthesis and did not own the right type of bra. I was just dressing one day and I just said, look how fortunate I am. I own all of these things. I don't have a problem in that area. But if I didn't have it, I would be ill at ease. Now you cannot wear any V-cut because you don't have your full, how is that called up here, your breast up here. You do not have the cleavage.
Area.
Yes, sister, the cleavage. You're one-sided. But when you have your prosthesis, you feel normal and you walk normal. And so I went on a campaign to be able to make prosthesis and mastectomy bras available to women, and to find out how expensive these things are. It is hurtful that after you've been through all of this, and now you just want to look normal in the world, you've been through the battle, and you just want to live your daily life looking normal, you cannot afford a bra that costs $100 to $150. You need a prosthesis that is probably up to $500, and you cannot walk into a store. Not even in the US, you have to order them on Amazon, or there's one or two specialty boutiques within the hospitals to get the right bra. So you see, the world is not ready for us. All they're ready to do is cut your breast, and probably you live another 10 years, So these are the things, these are more social things, more spiritual things that affect you, even more than the fact that you had cancer cells growing in your body. You want to live, and you want to live a normal life. And so this is my new project. I have already done one shipment and given out, and I am in the process of trying to do it better, that we can actually have a sales outlet. This is my next move, where I can make them affordable according to the economy, make them affordable, that a woman can be able to dress properly, because it changes the way you dress. You no longer can wear your V-necks and your halter tops and your whatever. And then what about a sea bath? What about going to the beach? Yeah, you either be bold and you go lopsided, or you have the right thing. Women have resorted to using foam. They have been innovative and have all sorts of ideas. But the best thing that's going on is to have your prosthesis and have your good bra. And the world and the hospitals should have that aspect of it to be able to help. I must say, where I was, they did direct me to a foundation, but that is just me, one person who has that access. It should be accessible to anyone who needs it. When your hair is cut off, you need a wig. When your face is bland and there's no eyebrow, and you need someone to help you to do that. And I got that. I got people to help me to make up. The first time I wore makeup was because my face was a blank, hairless face. And it doesn't impact you until it happens to you, that you have no eyebrows and no eyelashes. Okay, these are the things that you alone have to deal with when no one, is able to comfort you in that regard. Okay?
Yes, and I must add, it's really good that, after your experience, you took it to your own initiative and started making these special bras and stuff to sell to people that are affordable, knowing that generally there aren't really much places selling them, or if they are very costly. So I must commend you on that action.
Yeah, yes. I'm praying that I get through.
Yes, Debbie, thanks for championing that cause. It really is a worthy cause, because as you say, you've already gone through that trauma and you really want that, comfort now and that stability. You just want to be able to live, a normal, what's called a normal life now.
Yes.
So I'm really hoping that in the future that we could support that cause, right? So this is definitely a topic for further discussion.
Definitely. Okay. If you can find any access to that sort of thing, to get the bras for the women, prosthesis for the women, whether free, whether low cost, whether whatever. I'm a giver. Yes. I want to give everything, but it's not always
yes, everything has a cost. So yeah, at the end of the day, so truly understand. Yes, I think Shalini wanted to make a point. Shalini?
I want to ask a question. Do certain foods cause breast cancer?
I'm told, yes, I'm told that soy-based foods can increase the production of estrogen. The last episode I had with cancer was estrogen-led, 90-something% estrogen-led. But I have stopped consuming soy for almost 20 or more years. And so it's not always that, but I've only soy I can really tell you that I have heard. I would think, like, for instance, too much sugar, too much salt, the basic things of a healthy lifestyle can predispose you to that. But I have heard that soy in particular causes the body to produce more estrogen. I am not medically informed about it to say for sure. But I know my experiences now, things that help. I know for sure that soursop helps. That does the work of even chemotherapy. Because when I was ready to go home the first time I had cancer, ready to go home and they're checking over everything. And one doctor said, no, I see one spot and I'm not happy with it. And yes, you can go home, but we want you to come back within a month. And I said, boy, I've left my kids for a whole year and I don't think I want to come back within a month. As God would have it, I went home and a friend began bringing me soursops. She had a lot, she had a farm, and she began bringing soursops to me. And I consumed a whole lot beyond normal. I was eating soursop every day for about a month. I consumed that as well. I was taking coconut oil. I was also taking moringa. People think, things that people say help with cancer, but I did not know about the soursop. And I had a lot more soursop than usual. And I was taking moringa tea, virgin coconut oil, that sort of thing. And I went back to the US in about, let's say, 4 months later than they had asked me to come back. And when I was examined, the lady said, but did you do chemo when you went back to your country? And I said, no, I just had a lot of soursop, and they did not know what soursop was. So when I had gone home, the doctors were calling me, what is soursop? Spell it, let them look it up, let them this, let them the other. And to this day, I vouch for soursop, okay? So aside of knowing what foods may cause it, it's better to know what can prevent it or what can help you to eliminate the cancer in your body. And soursop is a boss. There are many other things, but my experience is soursop, okay?
Thanks so much, Debbie. That was really wonderful. And we are so lucky here in the Caribbean that we have access to, all these natural fruits, and even like soursop leaves, and those type of leaves. People do, vouch for it. So it's great to have that firsthand, experience from yourself. Virgin coconut oil, as you said as well, and even moringa. I mean, I could testify moringa, it really is a miracle, at least for me. With certain health issues I've gone through in the past, it really, really does help for a number of different things. So it's really good to know what you could do, to sort of prevent or counteract this situation. And in so doing, avoid the things that could potentially trigger, that mutation of your cells. For example, the soy, as you said, genetically modified foods, a lot of those foods now are genetically modified. Sometimes we can't even get away from it because it's so much now.
Right. That is why, along with that, you really can't get away from these things, That is why you try to eat as natural as possible. That doesn't mean that you won't have a bowl of ice cream, or you won't eat a chocolate, or you won't eat that sort of thing, but you make sure that you consume more natural foods.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Any of the other girls want to comment? What about Ciara or Victoria? Carlisa?
Good morning, Miss.
Hi, Carlisa.
Yeah, hi, Carlisa. Go ahead.
Miss, I had a cousin, right, Miss? She had the same thing.
Go ahead, Carlisa. Tell us about the experience. Go ahead.
Miss, she had the same breast cancer stuff. And she died.
Sorry to hear that, Carlisa. Some people will die because it depends on the aggressiveness and the stage of the cancer and how it is treated. When cancer is really, really, really far gone and aggressively progressing, I don't think the best way out is chemo and radiation, but then again, that's what the world knows, and that's what they give you. And you pass away, sometimes not even so much for the cancer, but how it's treated. People cannot at that time tolerate the ravaging of chemo and radiation when cancer is raging. We will all die, we will all die. But it's sad when you go through so much to be healed, to get better, and it gets you worse. It's rather, I don't want to be morbid, but rather if you're told stage 4 cancer, and it's rather you seek some sort of alternative way of what's called palliative care, and rather than spend so much money and ravage your body with these very strong chemicals and poisons. This is only my opinion.
Yes. Yes, Debbie, it's true, because at that stage, your body really doesn't have the strength and the immunity to really, keep up with those type of, therapies. So sometimes maybe leaning to the more natural alternative things could help you, sort of heal in the process, or help you with an easier, transition, so to speak. Yeah.
Definitely. Enjoy quality life as far as you can.
Right.
And listen, we don't give God a chance. We don't give the universe, God, the supreme being, a chance. There's nothing too big for him. But we always want to butt in and,
Yeah, because our bodies are made to heal for themselves, bodies are made to heal for themselves. So we have to give it the right, conditions, right environment, the right nutrition, and let God do his, his
state
work.
Of mind. Definitely.
Yes. So it's been really wonderful. Let me open the floor for Deborah Charles Mark to give any comments. I must thank her for inviting you, Debbie, to share your experience with us. Deborah?
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Debbie. That was so informative. We really enjoyed it, really learned a lot, a very good learning experience. I'm so overjoyed. And knowing that you went down the road of the holistic experience, you didn't just take what the doctors told you. You look at everything, holistically, and you do what is necessary for your body to heal, looking at the spirit. So that was really amazing. I really like that, and managing your stress and, trying not to be depressed and all of this. This is the whole picture, the whole thing. I am really grateful for you to take the time out to come and share with us. Thank you.
Thanks very much, ladies. I want to thank Krisana, our team leader, for today. I thank all the youth ambassadors for coming on board and for sharing with this topic. I just want to pass over to Krisana so that she can close us off as we end our breast cancer awareness topic.
Okay, so as we are about to conclude this breast cancer webinar, Ms. Debbie, I'd like to thank you so much and all the other ambassadors. Ms. Debbie, as a cancer survivor, it is a miracle. I must say that, because very few people survive cancer, well, at least to my knowing. So I do hope that this information, seeing that you experienced it, is helpful to those who are diagnosed, who are experiencing it, who are probably in their last stage. I do hope this provides some sort of help, comfort to them and their families. And I must say, this webinar also educated me a lot more about it, because I never knew how much soursop could have helped with cancer.
Yeah.
And this gonna encourage me to eat soursop and eat fruit. So it was really wonderful chatting with you, and this is a really great opportunity, for myself as well. And I think that I made the right decision bringing up this topic, and I do hope that the Sapphire Miriam Foundation and myself, as well as all the other ambassadors, can help the Breast Cancer Society in many ways, and we will look into the family counseling. So thank you for that, and thank you for sharing your opinion and views.
Thank you, ladies, for giving me the opportunity to share. The more we share, the more we know. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, everyone. And this concludes our breast cancer awareness session, Youth Forum, the Sapphire Miriam Foundation. Thank you very much, ladies.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.